Everyone is talking about AI, but what does it actually mean if you're trying to build a company right now? Well, we're going to break down the playbook from Box CEO Aaron Levie, who has a really clear and frankly urgent strategy for anyone trying to win in this new era.
And he kicks things off with a bang. According to Levie, we are in a very specific and very limited window of opportunity. Look, this isn't some vague, far-off prediction. He's talking about a 3 to 4 year sprint where the next generation of truly great companies are going to be born. The clock is ticking.
So to really get why this AI moment is so different, Levie says we actually need to look back at the last massive tech shift, the move to the cloud. His own experience building Box gives us a pretty crucial lesson.
Box was founded way back in 2005 with a really simple idea. But you know what? Growth was painfully slow. The real key for them was a pivot to enterprise. And then honestly, getting incredibly lucky with their timing. They caught these massive tailwinds of mobile and cloud adoption. But they had to fight tooth and nail to convince businesses this was the future.
And this right here is probably the single biggest difference between then and now. With the cloud, startups like Box spent years trying to convince these skeptical IT departments. But with AI, that battle's already won. I mean, thanks to tools like ChatGPT, literally everyone from the CEO down isn't just convinced, they're actively demanding AI solutions. The conversation is no longer if, it's how fast can we do this?
So what's the actual technology that's making this shift so dramatic? Well, it all comes down to AI's incredible new ability to unlock a company's most common and yet most overlooked asset.
It's all about unstructured data. I mean, think about it. For years, computers have been great with neat, organized databases. But all the other stuff, the contracts, the PDFs, the presentations, the memos, for decades, that was all just a big digital filing cabinet. Computers couldn't really understand what was inside any of it.
Until now, AI agents completely changed the game. For the first time ever, we have software that can read millions of these documents, actually understand the meaning and context inside them, and then go and automate complex work based on that understanding. That dusty digital filing cabinet just became an active, intelligent employee.
And this new ability to understand data leads to one of Levie's most important points, and it kind of flips the whole AI is coming for our jobs narrative on its head. He argues it's not coming for your job, it's coming for the worst parts of it.
As he puts it, most people on the outside just don't see how much of corporate life is eaten up by activities that are necessary, sure, but are ultimately not strategic. And that is the key distinction right there.
Let's break that down for a second. Unstrategic work is all that friction in our day. Trying to find that one file, manually copying and pasting data from a PDF, chasing people with follow-up emails. It has to get done, but it doesn't really move the needle. Strategic work is where the breakthroughs happen. Talking to a customer and having a real insight, designing a killer new campaign, actually inventing something new.
And here's the crazy part. The ratio of how we spend our time is completely upside down. A huge 70% chunk of the workday gets vaporized by that low-value, unstrategic stuff. So the real opportunity for AI isn't to replace the 30%, it's to eliminate as much of that 70% as possible, which would free up a just enormous amount of human potential.
Okay, so the opportunity is huge, we get it. But if you're a founder, how do you actually find your opening? Well, Levie offers a really simple but powerful framework for seeing this new landscape.
He calls it the nouns and verbs framework. For the past decade or so, it's kind of felt like all the big, obvious problems have been solved, right? There was a verb for everything. Listen to music, order food, run payroll. It was getting really hard to find a new one.
But AI creates a whole new category of verbs, actions that software could never do before. We're moving on from solving old problems to automating really complex knowledge work, like performing legal discovery or summarizing thousands of medical records in seconds. This is the new frontier for startups.
And of course, these new verbs demand totally new business models. The old SaaS world was limited by the number of human seats you could sell. If a company had 10 lawyers, you could sell 10 licenses, and that was it. That's your ceiling. The new model is based on consumption, the volume of work an AI agent can do, which is nearly unlimited. You're no longer just selling a tool, you're selling an outcome at scale.
Okay, so this is the question every single founder gets. If this AI stuff is so powerful, why wouldn't a huge company like Disney or Procter & Gamble just build it themselves instead of buying it from a tiny startup?
The answer lies in this brilliant framework called core versus context. Basically, every company focuses its best people and its best resources on what is core to its mission. For Disney, that's creating characters and stories. Their HR system, that's context. It's necessary, sure, but it's not where they innovate. And companies will almost always choose to buy a best-in-class solution for context because it's just not worth the distraction to build it themselves. That is the startup's opening.
So the opportunity is clear, the playbook is there, but the most important piece of Levie's entire message is really about timing.
Levie is incredibly specific about the timeline. This isn't some vague, decade-long shift. The prime window to build something foundational in this new world is right now, and it will likely start to close in about 3 years. The urgency here really can't be overstated.
So, Levie's final advice is simple and direct. First, ride a tailwind. Only go after markets that AI fundamentally changes. Don't try to fight the current. Second, find a great co-founder, because you'll need someone to survive the grind with. And finally, go big. This is the moment to be truly ambitious.
You know, this entire shift just opens up a whole landscape of problems that were previously unsolvable by software. For the first time in maybe a decade, there are entirely new verbs to be created. Levie's playbook basically gives you the map. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?